Hello everybody, this is Gareth Cahoon Speaks back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar or give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next video, or else you can look me up at my website, which is www.garethcahoon.co.uk, or if you'd like to support my ministry by donating, you can do so at PayPal garethcahoon3@gmail.com. This one is about Trump says US will run Venezuela short term after capturing the dictator Nicolas Maduro. The United States hit Venezuela with a large scale strike early Saturday and said President Nicolas Maduro and his wife were captured and flown out of the country after months of stepped up pressure by Washington. An extraordinary nighttime operation announced by President Donald Trump on social media hours after the attack. Multiple explosions rang out and low-flying aircraft swept through Caracas, the capital, as Maduro's government immediately accused the US of attacking civilian and military installations. Trump announced the development on Truth Social shortly after 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time and hosted a news conference at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. President Trump said the US planned to run Venezuela until a transition of power can take place, and he claimed the American presence was already in place. "We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper and judicious transition," Trump said at a news conference where he boasted that no nation in the world could achieve what America achieved. US Attorney General Pam Bondi said Maduro and his wife Sila Flores would face charges after an indictment in New York. Bondi vowed in social media posts that the couple would soon face the full wrath of American justice on American soil in American courts. Maduro and the other Venezuelan officials were indicted in 2020 on narco-terrorism conspiracy charges, but it was not previously known his wife had been, and it wasn't clear if Bondi was referring to a new indictment. Trump said the couple were aboard the US warship Iwo Jima and headed to New York, where they will face prosecution. The Justice Department during Trump's first term in office charged in the several indictments that Maduro had effectively converted Venezuela into a criminal enterprise at the service of drug traffickers and terrorist groups, as he and his allies stole billions from the South American country. The coordinated unsealing of indictments against 14 officials and government-connected individuals and rewards of 55 million for Maduro and 4 others attacked all the key planks of what then Attorney General William Barr called the corrupt Venezuela regime, including the Maduro-dominated judiciary and the powerful armed forces. One indictment by prosecutors in New York accused Maduro and Socialist Party boss Diosdado Cabello, head of the rubber-stamping Constitutional Assembly, of conspiring with Colombian rebels and members of the military to flood the United States with cocaine and use the drug trade as a weapon against America. The State Department officials say the tyrant is gone. US Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Lando says that the military action and seizure of Maduro marks a new dawn for Venezuela, saying the tyrant is gone. He posted on X hours after the strike. His boss, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, reposted a post from July that said Maduro is not the president of Venezuela and his regime is not the legitimate government. Senator Lee says Rubio told him he anticipates no further action in Venezuela. Utah Senator Mike Lee said Rubio informed him that he anticipates no further action in Venezuela now that Maduro is in US custody, the lawmaker posted on social media. Senator Lee says Rubio briefed him that Maduro will be tried in US. Senator Mike Lee, R. Republican of Utah, posted on X that he had spoken with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who briefed him on the strike. Rubio told Lee that Maduro had been arrested by US personnel to stand trial on criminal charges in the United States. The White House did not immediately respond. No queries on where Maduro and his wife were being flown to. Maduro was indicted in March 2020 on narco-terrorism conspiracy charges in the Southern District of New York. Colombia prepares to receive refugees from Venezuela. President Gustavo Petro of Colombia, one of Trump's fiercest critics, said that Colombian government convened a national security meeting before dawn Saturday and sent security forces to the border in preparation for a potential massive influx of refugees from neighbouring Venezuela. He said he had also called on the UN Secretary Council to consider the aggression against the sovereignty of Venezuela and of Latin America. Without sovereignty, there is no nation, Petro wrote on social media. Russia called US action an act of armed aggression. Russian Foreign Ministry condemned what it called a US act of armed aggression against Venezuela in a statement posted on its Telegram channel. Venezuela must be guaranteed the right to determine its own destiny without destruction, let alone military outside intervention, the statement said. The ministry called for dialogue to prevent further escalation and said it reaffirmed its solidarity with the Venezuelan people and government, adding that Russia supports calls for an emergency UN Secretary Council meeting. The State Department urges Americans in Venezuela to shelter in place. The State Department issued a new travel alert early Saturday, warning Americans in Venezuela, urging them to shelter in place due to the situation. The US Embassy in Bogota is aware of reports of explosions in and around Caracas, Venezuela, it said without elaboration. The US Embassy in Bogota, Colombia warns US citizens not to travel to Venezuela. US citizens in Venezuela should shelter in place. The embassy in Bogota has been shuttered since March 2019 but operates remotely. This is great news for Venezuela. Of course, Russia and China and Iran aren't going to be too happy about what's going on. But ask the Venezuelan people, both inside the country and those that have been forced into exile because of having no freedom. They are celebrating in the streets. They're cheering on Trump and said that he should have done it earlier. So I stand with the Venezuelan people who, after such a long time under Hugo Chavez and then Nicolas Maduro, finally their country has a chance at true freedom and getting rid of another communist state. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah.